One of the most difficult things about incorporating native plants into your landscape is how to make it not look like an overgrown meadow. Here we see how that can be done in both the front yard and the backyard. This yard is a pollinator-friendly yard, and it's pesticide-free, and you can tell by this lovely native Gara that it's already attracting bumblebees. And this is Christy Bergstrom, the designer of it all, and she and her husband Matt have designed and implemented this beautiful chemical-free, not just pesticide-free, but doesn't use anything, garden. So Christy, tell me about your Gara.
You know, we're really proud of that fact that this is a pesticide-free garden. Gora is one of our favorite plants. We have it planted in 2 spots to kind of anchor the front. None of our other neighbors have planted it. We don't know why, but it's one of our favorites. You know, it gets even taller, and this variety is called whirling butterflies. It actually literally looks like butterflies swirling around as it continues to grow throughout the summer. And as you can see, the bumblebees absolutely love it.
They do. They're all over this one and that one too. So, all right. So you've incorporated that, and the we've got your beautiful dahlia here, which is not a native, but it's certainly not invasive.
No, I love them. That one is Michaela Miranda, and it's such a gorgeous flower. Yeah. Up front, we have really tried to stick with kind of a pinks, purples, and whites color theme, and in the back, we've just kind of let it go a bit more wild. But yeah, up here, because we've got an HOA and we've got neighbors, you know, we want to try to keep it a little bit more uniform. But yeah, almost all of these plants are natives. A lot of them I've grown from seed. These zinnias, every year I grow from seed. The gomphrena grow from seed as well. So yeah, we're just really proud of it. And you know, part of why we've labeled so many of these plants and why we have that sign up here is so that we can encourage our neighbors to not use pesticides as well.
That's a great idea. And you've got the Asclepias tuberosa, the orange milkweed right here too, which is lovely.
That's actually a purple one.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
Like the pink and purple one.
The swamp milkweed. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Cinderella. Yeah. And you've got lavender. And as we go around, you've got purple coneflower, which is a mainstay of the pollinator garden.
We let those, you know, they don't look great at the moment, but, you know, we let them go to seed because the birds, you know, they like those seed heads, and that helps feed them throughout the winter. So we just let them do their thing, and they've reseeded themselves like crazy. We've got an Arkansas blue star over here as well.
Yes, that's a native too.
Yeah, the liatris too. So yeah, we're really proud of this front. You know, we actually even expanded it a couple of years ago too, because we wanted more bed space, and we've got plans to do even more. So
yeah, oh great.
The less grass, the better, in our opinion.
You are the gomphrena queen.
You love gomphrena.
There is lovely gomphrena here, and I noticed the skippers are all over it. They in particular like it. And so why do you like gomphrena so much?
I love it because it retains its color. So this one's obviously white, but in the backyard I've got other colors. I love it because you can use it in wreath arrangements. So it retains its color even when you cut them. And they're really easy to work with wreath arrangements.
And so many different colors too.
Yes.
And I love your switchgrass right here, which is a native grass. This is Shenandoah, you told me earlier. It turns a beautiful red in the fall. And it's also the host plant for several Tennessee butterflies. So very beautiful. And you've also carried the Gara over to the other side, and it's just a nice, beautiful picture out here.
We attempt to make it cohesive out front. We get a little bit more wild in the back, but we do attempt cohesion.
It is cohesive
out here.
It's lovely.
Yes, thank you.
This plant, this dahlia, won first place in Williamson County Fair. And tell us about any tips you can give the viewers about how to grow dahlias. How do you do it so great?
So I've actually had better luck growing them in the ground, and I have always found each year, at least in my soil, that they get an iron deficiency about halfway through the year. So I'll feed them with a little bit of iron, feed them occasionally, but I mean, for the most part, I put them in the ground, you know, cover them, you know, with some extra mulch over the winter, and then leave them alone.
And that's it.
Let nature, you know?
Okay. When you live in a subdivision, you are going to face these awkward areas that are about like a junior high yearbook picture. So Christy and her husband Matt have done a fabulous job of making this a lot less awkward. Tell us about it, Christy.
Yeah, we actually had the path put in last fall, and that was a huge project for us. We didn't actually put it in, but we paid somebody to professionally do it, and they did a phenomenal job. And we also had them dig out this grass all on the side. So it's given us so much more bed space to work with, which has been our favorite.
I love the columbine and the collias and everything you've done here. Christy, tell me about your choices here.
Thank you so much. Well, one of the main reasons why I grow coleus in the first place was a segment I saw on Volunteer Gardener a couple of years ago. It's just such a great, easy plant, so cheap. Yeah, those were actually gifts from a neighbor of mine who has a full shade garden. And when we were starting to plant out this area, she offered up some of hers, some of her beautiful oxalis and hellebores, which are just two of my personal favorites. Yeah, this coleus, it's one of the ones I've grown every year since I've seen it. It performs really well in my garden.
And the leaves are incredible.
Yeah, the foliage is just stunning. It's such a beautiful pop of color in the garden.
It is.
As well. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely love the coral bells too. They're another favorite of ours. And again, more gorgeous coleus. It's such a cheap thing to buy in the garden centers, and it's such a crazy plant because it performs beautifully either in shade or in full sun or in pots. It's just crazy. So
I love the way you've done the chartreuse on the leaves here, and then in the full plant there too. That's gorgeous.
Lime coleus is just one of my absolute favorites. But yeah, I always tell people buy it because it's something so great to fill in your borders with.
And I don't think you've over hosted either.
We love hostas. That's actually I learned recently from a neighbor of mine that they make miniature hostas. So I of course had to buy some of those.
So we may see more hostas in the future.
Yes. So that's the lakeside little tuft hosta that's just adorable. But yeah, so we have dotted in some hostas, but as far as the ecosystem goes, we try to vary it up too and not do too many of one plant because you want to.
So you don't have a monoculture.
Exactly.
Christy, I love your major wheeler native honeysuckle. Tell us about that and why you chose this plant for your fence.
Well, we actually heard about it from a fellow master gardener when we took the program in 2019. And, we saw pictures of hers and we were like, oh, we got to grow this. So this is actually the third year that we've had it in the ground, and it's bloomed every year, but this has been the show-stopping year. It's had three really good flushes of flowers. The hummingbirds fight over it. We've got a little nest buried in there too. I mean, just everything loves it, and it's such a stunner. Our neighbors always comment on it, and it's one of my favorite things in the garden.
It's actually a host plant too for a beautiful moth, and lots of butterflies like it as well. So really good choice. I love that. And plus it hides the fence, so you don't just have this big wall of board.
Yep. Well, and it looks just as good on the other side of the fence as it does on this side.
Oh, okay. The story of the Bergstrom's garden is she designs, he plants, and and does the building. So it's a gorgeous place. Tell us about your vegetable garden, Matt, and how you and Christy work together to make it happen.
Sure. So we really expanded this in 2020. Wanted to start growing more of our own vegetables. So tore out all the grass back here, laid down some landscape fabric and the rocks. And then I think one of the keys was cut out where the raised beds are, so that way any of the plants not only have all of that soil to grow through, but can reach into the native if they need to. And
now,
it turned out great.
The rocks are for drainage?
Drainage and aesthetic.
Okay. They're gorgeous. And tell us about the bags.
So the grow bags was sort of an emergency way to grow more things that we didn't have room for. So primarily we use them for potatoes. They grow really well every year. And then when those finish, we'll harvest those and then put some later season crops in as well.
I see you've got some peppers over there too as well. So tomatoes here.
Yeah, got to grow tomatoes every year.
Yes, have to.
I think it's one of the best things that you can grow if you have space for it. I think it's one of the best tasting things that you can grow in your garden versus something you can buy in a supermarket. So.
Yeah, and it's so great you have incorporated the pollinator plants, so they'll pollinate the tomatoes, and you have more tomatoes Perfect.
Flowers in with the vegetables.
And you got a little eggplant there?
That's
Is that
right, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've got a couple of varieties.
Okay, and tell me about these vegetables too.
So beets, which have gotten a little out of control this year, but we will certainly be using them. More peppers, always grow basil. It's a great companion plant for tomatoes. And then some more peppers and a little bit of fennel in there too, actually.
Oh, cool.
which is
Host
done as
plant
well.
for the black swallow.
Exactly.
Perfect. So, Matt, tell me about the wood you used for the beds and how you constructed these, and do you have a watering system in there too?
I do have a watering system in there. I'm going to work on redoing it here soon to get a little better efficiency. But the beds are built of 2x6 pressure treated lumber with 4x4 posts on the inside, just screwed together. Honestly, it's easier than you think it would be. 2x8 or 4x8, excuse me, is the size, which just makes it easy. You take one side, cut it in half, and that's your short side, and then an entire board is your long size. So really anybody can do it, and they work out great.
And these are part of your
So
plan, also
yes,
a cover.
These are actually allow us to do either frost protection in the winter and the early spring, or we can do shade cloth in the summer, which I'll probably do soon. And then we've even had used some heavier plastic on it to almost make a small greenhouse environment, especially in early spring if we want to get a jump on growing some stuff.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Oh, he's so smart.
And of course, you have to have dahlias
Yes.
and more dahlias.
Yes. Yes, this is Fremont's memory over here. It's one of my favorites. As you can see, I need to divide the tubers because this plant is completely out of control this year.
If you need a place to send those, just saying.
Happily we'll share some.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, one of my favorite things to do, and I've finally been growing enough flowers in my garden this year, is to make neighbor bouquets. So that's one of the things that I've been doing with this dahlia plant this year, and I love it. But yeah, these are specific pollinator beds, hexagonal ones that I think structurally look really interesting and beautiful design-wise in the garden. Where Gardener's Supply Company is a place that we have been inspired a lot by their catalog. that was one of the things that we saw, and this one was like, well, I could build that. So that's what we did.
Okay, so some herbs along here, and then more some cherry tomatoes here.
Yeah, we'll put a tomato wherever we find space.
Yeah, wherever there's room. Love
Tomato
the
crazy
Salvia gregae. This is actually a Texas, southwestern, more native, but it does well here, and the bumblebees and the butterflies love it. So it's great to, again, you're incorporating these natives right into your
And it was a
garden,
cutting that we took from some Master Gardener beds.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yep.
That's great. This little spot is so endearing. I love your goldenrod. This is Solidago rugosa fireworks. And you've even got a native ironweed in the background, and this will turn a deep purple with the yellow, so complementary colors. Gorgeous.
Yes.
Tell me about.
I love the bush habit of this one. A year or two ago, we just kind of let stuff start to grow up in the lawn enough so that my husband could identify different natives. And so that's when he found some of the goldenrod that was already growing here. This one we got from a Master Gardener plant sale. And I love the bush habit of it because it's different. And it really does look like fireworks, coming out. It's gorgeous.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
it does.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And of course we have
more gomphrena
token
because I
gomphrena
can't
here.
have enough gomphrena.
Okay.
But yeah, every year we just kind of, I think we're actually going to end up making another bed over here, but we just kind of stick things in the yard because again, grass just doesn't add anything to the value of the ecosystem. It just sucks up more water. So we might as well put some plants, and you can see, the bumblebees are just going crazy, and the carpenter bees are going crazy for the celosia back here, and the zinnias and the gomphrena. They love it. So
Yeah, and even more so as time goes on. Too.
Yeah.
So.
And this will soon be covered. As it continues to bloom, it will be absolutely covered in bugs.
This spot is one of my favorites in your whole yard. I absolutely love this because you've taken the native wildflower and put it on a trellis and made it into something beautiful, and it has gold fritillary caterpillars all over it. So tell me about how you decided to do this.
Well, I originally saw this design in a catalog, saw the trellis, so we bought the trellis, and then, we just decided that the raised beds were going to just be too expensive to try to also buy. So we ended up, this one was like, well, I'll build them. So that's what he did, and it's really another showstopper in the back of our garden. I love it because our neighbors can see it as well. You know, it's obviously very open back here, but he also strung solar powered fairy lights on it. So at night, it just looks, it comes on automatically. It looks really beautiful, and it's not too bright for, you know, moths or anything like that. It's just quite, you know, just enough light to be beautiful. And yeah, the passion flower was actually gifted to us, 2 little seedlings from another master gardener friend of ours. Again, more free plants. That's why you join the Master Gardeners. And yeah, she said they would get 8 to 10 feet of growth this year, and she was absolutely correct. So yeah, but now caterpillars have been munching on it for a while, so it's starting to look a little sad. But you know, that's the thing too in our garden. We're not going to pull stuff off. We're going to let nature be nature back here, and it's one thing that we're really proud of back here in this garden is just letting, you know, for example, the gomphrena over here, we've had aphids on and off of it like crazy, and you know, we've a week or 2 ago, the ladybugs showed up and cleared them out. So it's pretty,
That's how it works,
yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing.
So basically, if you dream it, then you will come and build it, right? It's
I'll do my best.
It's like Garden of Dreams.
I'll do my best.
It is.
Okay,
It is,
and just real
absolutely.
quick, I love the way you put the bee balm in pots, again, incorporating natives into your landscape, and you've got some coneflower there and other things. So this area is just amazing, and I can see you sitting on the porch at night watching those
We
fairy
do, not in
lights.
this heat, but typically in the spring to early summer, and then in the
Yeah,
fall
it's
again. It's
fabulous.
a great place to come out here and read a book and just enjoy nature. You know, we frequently see the hummingbirds, you know, flying over there and fighting over the major wheeler honeysuckle. So
Well-
it's beautiful. We really enjoy it, and our neighbors enjoy it too.
It's just amazing. What a team you are. It's great.
Well, and we hope that we inspire people to really be thoughtful about what they're putting in their garden, to think about the overall ecosystem, and to stop using pesticides and chemicals, and just let nature be nature. It's really amazing what happens in your garden when you let it do its thing.
Yeah, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
You both have. If you love gardening as much as I do, you'll want to subscribe to this channel. We showcase not only gardens, but gardeners as well, and the joy that the two of those meshed together can bring.